All right, welcome back. We are reading the book Business Plans That Work. We are on Chapter 3. I hope you're enjoying this series so far. This is about getting started with writing the business plan. And if you're enjoying this series, also be sure to check out my Acme Entrepreneur Program, where I teach you entrepreneurship from beginning to end. So if you really are interested in learning more entrepreneurship, do check out my Acme Entrepreneur course. I will leave a link in the description. So let's go ahead and get started. Perhaps the hardest part of writing a business plan is getting started, compiling the data, shaping the data into an articulate story, and producing the finished product can be a daunting task. So the best way to write a business plan is in steps. First, you write a 25-word statement of your current vision. This provides a roadmap for you and others to follow as you start the planning process. Once the team agrees to the vision, expand it into a short expanded summary of 5 to 6 pages. This expanded summary provides details and gives you the momentum as you start attacking major sections of the plan. Although all sections interact and influence all of the other sections, it's often the easiest to write the product or the service description first. This is usually the most concrete component of the entrepreneur's vision. Keep in mind, however, that writing a business plan isn't a purely sequential process. You will be filling in different parts of the plan simultaneously or in whatever order makes the most sense to you. So finally, after you have completed a first draft of all the major sections, it's time to go back and write a shorter, more concise executive summary of 1 or 2 pages. Not surprisingly, the executive summary will be quite different from the original summary because of all the learning and reshaping that the business plan process facilitates. Perhaps the most important thing to consider as you begin this is what the business plan is a living document. Although the first draft will be polished, most business plans are obsolete the day they come out of the printer. Entrepreneurs continuously update and revise their business plans since the entire context is changing constantly. Can anyone tell you who all your competitors are today, let alone in a month? Again, the important part of the business plan isn't the final product, but the learning gleaned from going through the process. Through each iteration, you will learn more. For example, you will identify more competitors in the next iteration than in the first. The business plan is a novel of your vision. It articulates what you see in your mind, as well as crystallizing that vision for you and your team. It also provides a history, a photo album, if you will, of the birth, growth, and maturity of your business. Each major revision should be kept and filed and occasionally looked back for the lessons you've learned. We find writing a business plan exciting and creative, especially if one is working on it with a founding team. Whether it is over a glass of wine, beer, or coffee, talking about your business concept with your founding team is invigorating, and the business plan is a critical outcome of those discussions. Let us examine how to develop and write an effective business plans. The story model: a plan for whom? One of the major goals of business plans is to attract and convince various stakeholders of the potential of your business. Therefore, you have to keep in mind how those stakeholders will interpret the plan. Who is the plan for? You, potential team members, a brain trust advisor, investors, customers. The guiding principle is that you're writing a story. All good stories have a plotline, a unifying thread that ties the characters and events together, and the most successful businesses in America all have well-publicized plotlines, or more appropriately, taglines. When you hear taglines, you immediately connect them to the business. For example, on hearing "absolutely positively has to be there overnight," most people connect that tagline to Federal Express and package delivery. Similarly, "just do it" is intricately linked to Nike and the image of the athletic excellence. A tagline is a sentence or even a fragment of a sentence that summarizes the essence of your business. It is the plotline that every sentence, paragraph, page, and diagram in the business plan should correlate to. A useful tip that we share with every entrepreneur we work with is to put that tagline in a footer that runs on the bottom of every page. Most word processing packages, such as Microsoft Word, enable you to insert a footer that you can see as you type. Nike, "just do it." Federal Express, FedEx, absolutely, positively has to be there overnight. McDonald's, we'd love to see you smile. Cisco Systems, discover all that's possible on the internet. Microsoft, where do you want to go today? As you're writing in the section if the section doesn't build on, explain, or directly relate to the tagline, it is most likely isn't a necessary component of the business plan. Rigorous adherence to tagline facilitates writing a concise business plan. The key to the story model is capturing the reader's attention. The tagline is the foundation, but in writing the plan, you want to create a number of visual catch points. Too many business plans are text-laden, dense manifestos. Only the most diligent reader will wade through all that text to find the valuable nuggets. Help the reader by highlighting different key points throughout the plan. How do you create these catch points? Some effective techniques include extensive use of headings and subheadings, strategically placed bullet point list, diagrams, charts, and sidebars. The point is to make the document not only content-rich but visually attractive. Now let's look at the major sections of the plan. Exhibit 3.2. So the major sections of the plan are cover, title page, executive summary, industry, customer and competitor analysis, company and product description, marketing plan, operations plan, development plan, team, critical risks, offering, financial plan, and appendices. Keep in mind that although there are variations, most plans have these components. It is important to keep your plan as close to this format as possible because many stakeholders are used to the format and it facilitates spot reading. If you're seeking venture capital, for instance, you want to facilitate quick perusal because it has been found that venture capitalists often spend as little as 5 minutes on a plan before rejecting it or putting it aside for further attention. If a venture capitalist, VC, becomes frustrated with an unfamiliar format, it is most likely rejected. He or she will most likely reject it rather than try to pull out the pertinent information. Although other types of investors, such as friends, family, and angels, may be more patient than a VC, keeping the VC reader in mind will help you write a concise, effective plan that is more likely to impress all of the stakeholders. Cover page. The cover of the plan should include the following information: company name, tagline, contact person and address, phone, fax, email, date, disclaimer, and copy number. Most of this information is self-explanatory, but a few things should be pointed out. First, the contact person for a new venture should be the president or another founding team member. We have seen some business plans that have failed to have the contact person's name and phone number on the cover. Imagine the frustration of an excited potential investor who can't find out how to contact the entrepreneur to get more information. More often than not, that plan will end up in the rejected pile. Second, business plans should have a disclaimer along these lines. This plan has been submitted on a confidential basis solely to be selected highly qualified investors. The recipient should not reproduce this plan or distribute it to others without permission. Please return this copy if you do not wish to invest in the company. Controlling distribution is particularly important when you are seeking investment, especially if you do not want to violate Regulation D of the Security Exchange Commission, SEC, which specifies how many unaccredited investors can invest in your firm. The cover also should have a line stating the copy number. For example, you often see the bottom right portion of the cover line, a line that says copy 1 of 5 copies. Entrepreneurs should keep a log of who has copies so they can prevent unexpected distribution. Finally, the cover should be eye-catching. If you have a product or prototype, a picture of it can draw the reader in. Similarly, a catchy tagline draws attention and encourages the reader to look further. Let's look at the Firefly Toys cover page. Just to talk about the SEC quickly, going into detail on SEC regulations is beyond the scope of this book. If in doubt, check with your lawyer. However, there are a few basics. If your total financing need, private placement, is under $1 million, there aren't any federal restrictions other than anti-fraud rules. If it is over $1 million, you can have only 35 unaccredited investors. The rest need to be accredited, which is defined as having a net worth greater than $1 million or an annual income above $200,000. So on the next page, we have a drawing of the Firefly cover page. It looks like this, with a Firefly logo and Firefly Toys Inc. written below it, with some more information below it, which says Lauren C. McLaughlin, 549 Riverside Drive, number 6B, New York, New York, 10027. Lauren at fireflytoys.com, dated September 19, 2002, copy 5 of 5. With the little disclaimer at the bottom that says the components of this business plan have been submitted on a confidential basis. It cannot be reproduced, stored, or copied in any form. By accepting delivery of this plan, the recipient agrees to return this copy of the plan. Do not copy, fax, reproduce, or distribute without permission. Control number and disclaimer help you track who has copies of the plan. Business plan date allows you to track version easily. Remember, you probably have multiple versions of the plan. Contact person and information should be easy to find. Picture of the company logo attracts the eye and nice visual. And Lauren might consider expanding the logo to fill more of the page and possibly eliminate the written title. And at the top, note the company name and tagline in the header. Alright, so table of contents. Continuing the theme of making the document easy to read, a detailed table of contents is critical. Many investors, for example, prefer to spot read business plans rather than reading them from front to back. Help those readers find the information they want. The table of contents should include major sections, subsection, exhibit, and appendices. The table gives a reader a roadmap of your plan. Note that the table of contents is customized to the specific business so that it doesn't correlate perfectly with the business plan outlined in Exhibit 3.2. Nonetheless, a look at Firefly plan shows that it includes most of the elements highlighted in the exhibit and that the order of information is basically the same. The executive summary is always the first item in the business plan. The next three sections relate directly to the due diligence prescribed in the Timmins model. The market analysis, the competition sections translate the opportunity analysis described in Chapter 1. The company description is a unique way in which you will mine the opportunity. The team section often comes later in the plan to provide an exclamation point. Until that point, you have identified the opportunity, your company's solution, and how you will execute the plan. The team section shows that you have the horsepower to succeed. So the next page just shows the Firefly table of contents, which shows creating serious play, Firefly Toys Inc. Major headings are designated as 1.0, 2.0, etc. Subsections are designated 2.1, 2.2, etc. So just typical numbering of an outline to help the reader navigate the table of contents. The table of contents looks like executive summary, market analysis with two subsections, industry and the customer. Point 3 is competition. Point 4 is the company, Firefly Toys. Each point has a page number next to it. The company has things about the product benefit, entry and growth strategy. Then there's a marketing plan section, which has the subsections of the marketing plan, target market strategy, product strategy, pricing strategy, distribution strategy, advertising and promotion, sales set forecast. And then you have the operation plans, which is ongoing operation plan, geographic location, facilities and improvements. Then there's a development plan, which highlights the development strategy as a subsection. There's a team section. Then there's a critical risk section, which has the market interest and growth potential, competitor action and retaliation. Time and cost to development proprietary issues. The offering is the next section, and the financial plan is the last section, containing gross and operating margins, profit, potential and durability, and the balance sheet. Now let's talk about the executive summary. This section is the most important part of the business plan. If you don't capture the reader's attention in the executive summary, it is unlikely that they will read any other parts of the plan. So therefore, you want to hit them with the most compelling aspects of your business opportunity right up front. Hook the reader. That means having the first sentence or paragraph highlight the potential of the opportunity. We have read too many plans that start with Company XYZ incorporated in the state of Delaware will develop and sell widgets. Ho hum. That doesn't excite us. But suppose the first sentence states, the current market for widgets is $50 million, growing at an annual rate of 20%. Moreover, the emergence of the internet is likely to accelerate this market's growth. Company XYZ is positioned to capture this wave with its proprietary technology, the secret formula VOOM, V-O-O-M. The founding team has over 60 years of experience in starting and building 3 companies in a related technology and market area. 2 of these businesses were sold, and the third is a public company with sales over $100 million. This creates the right tone. It tells us that the potential opportunity is huge, and the company XYZ has a competitive advantage that enables it to become a big player in the market. Moreover, the strength of the founding team and its track record would be attractive to investors. We don't really care at this point that the business is incorporated or that it is a Delaware corporation. Aren't they all? Common subsections within the executive summary include description of the opportunity, business concept, industry overview, target market, competitive advantage, business model, and compelling economics, team, and offering. Remember that since this is an executive summary, all of these components are covered in the body of the plan. We will explore them in detail in the remainder of the book. Because the executive summary is the most important part of the financial finished plan, it should be written after you have gained deep learning by going through all of the other sections. The summary should be 1 to 2 to 3 pages, although we prefer that the executive summary be no more than 2 pages. Okay, so Firefly Executive Summary 1.0, Section 1.0, Executive Summary. Use of headings facilitates spot reading. Introduction. Concisely lay out what the business is. Firefly Toys is a therapeutic toy company dedicated to creating toys for children who are coping with a difficult life challenge or crisis. Examples of challenges or crisis include bullying, nightmares, divorce, and illness. Whatever the cause, children are faced with many such stressful challenges that can affect a child's psychological development and esteem, possibly leading to behavioral issues. Firefly has developed a unique line of therapeutic toys that enable caregivers and parents to 1. Effectively communicate with children during difficult times, 2. Provide children with comfort, and 3. Have fun. These bullets highlight Firefly's customer value proposition. The opportunity. So we talk about the hook, and we use bullet points to take advantage of to draw the reader's attention to our competitive advantages. So let's talk about that. The opportunity derives from several converging trends. 1 in 6 children in the United States is coping with a crisis. In any given year, nearly 72 million children under the age of 18 are coping with a personal crisis. Therapeutic toys help children work through their issues. Child psychologists recognize the value of play therapy in helping children communicate and work through issues. Child caregiver professionals are seeking more tools. Firefly has attended several conventions of child care professionals, and attendees have validated our belief that new, specially designed toys can help children through these crises. So we have shown that a large number of children are affected by the problem Firefly hopes to address. Also note that Lauren has footnoted the source of the statistics. Footnotes add credibility if they are from a respected source. This bullet asserts that toys can be effective in dealing with this problem. The child caregiver professionals are seeking more tools point. This bullet implies that Firefly concept is valid. The fact that we went to these conventions and validated the concept. Now, business concept is the next part of our executive summary. So we had the introduction, we talked about the opportunity. Now we're talking about the business concept. Firefly has developed a specifically designed bundled product line that provides the tools parents and caregivers need to communicate with a child in distress. The Comfort Creature is a tactile plush fleece doll designed with special features that help children communicate their feelings. The Comfort Creature comes with a storybook showing the Comfort Creature managing a life crisis. Example, a death in the family. And then they have pictures of this comfort creature and the comfort kit next to the bullet points. The comfort kit, intended to be sold separately, is a specially designed backpack filled with toys, crafts, games, and additional storybooks featuring the comfort creature. The activities in the comfort kits are designed to help with the child and caregiver connect and deal with a life crisis. To that end, a caregiver's guide instructs parents, caregivers on how to use the comfort creature, comfort kits, and storybooks to help the child deal with the situation. In addition, the company is upgrading its website to provide more resources for caregivers. Parents and caregivers confirm that a Firefly is a useful tool. And then quotes, "My child wasn't willing to consider sleeping alone since her father died, but since we introduced Jardo, she has slept by herself for a whole 2 weeks." Close quote. Another quote, "Jardo sleeps at the end of my bed at night and protects me." Close quote. Child, age 5. So these are quotes, testimonials. All right. So next part we have industry overview. The international toy industry surpassed $55 billion in sales in 2000. The U.S. traditional toy market was $25 billion in 2001, growing at approximately 2% a year. The traditional toy market is led by Mattel, Hasbro, and Lego, which account for 42% of all the revenue. However, certain niches provide opportunity for innovative companies. So if concisely, sizes, overall market rate, and growth rate give sense of market structure. Consolidated, this would suggest that the opportunity isn't attractive within the mainstream market. And then there's some footnotes about the resources used to get these numbers. Gomez Advisors has found that the educational toys are the fastest growing segment of the toy industry, having reached $4 billion in 2000. The gross margins in this segment tend to be 30% to 40% and are easier to maintain than the gross margins in the mass market segment because there is a greater focus on specific target customers and distribution channels. So Firefly is suggesting here that the educational niche has more promise. So now let's go over the target market. So the target market, Firefly suggests that there is a new segment within the education toy niche by saying within the educational toy market there is an emerging therapeutic toy segment. There are two core customers, parents and professional caregivers. Firefly focuses on those parents who are aware that their child needs extra support during difficult life situations. Of the more than 32 million parents with young children, Simmons' 1999 database suggests that nearly 2 million of them encountered a difficult life situation, such as moving or divorcing, and purchase a plush or educational toy. Strategic use of bold font draws attention. Firefly is identifying one of the core customers. Parents is bolded. And we have suggested that parents are motivated to buy a product that helps the child by talking about parents who are aware of it and giving some data around that. Now, caregivers also include nurses, preschool teachers, child psychologists, and counselors. They work with children in settings where life challenges emerge as both crisis situations and regular developmental difficulties. Of the nearly 10 million such caregivers, more than 25% purchased a plush or educational toy in 1999. Again, suggests that the second core customer is also motivated to buy. To reach these customers, Firefly will distribute its products through institutions where caregivers work and parents interact with the caregivers, philanthropic organizations, hospitals, and schools, with secondary distribution through specialty toy retailers, and direct sales through Firefly's website and phones. This strategy provides Firefly an edge as few other toy companies sell to institutions. This is possibly Firefly's competitive advantage, assuming that it can get access to these institutions. Now let's talk about competitive advantage. So this was so far talking about target market and leading into our competitive advantage. Notice that Firefly's expected competitive advantage is bundled and includes multiple elements. So we're going to bullet them. Firefly's competitive advantage is summarized in the 4 points below. A product that helps children gain relief from the crisis they are facing. An affordable, simple solution, even as an inexperienced caregiver can use to communicate effectively with a child going through a difficult life challenge. a creative way to communicate with children at their own level in their own time, an integrated system of products that includes both comforting toys for the child and important advice for the caregiver. The products and advice specifically address the different educational and therapeutic challenges both the caregiver and the children are facing. Management. Lauren Creamer McLaughlin, founder and CEO, has 10 years of experience working with children in crisis. Megan McDonald, director of marketing, has 6 years of marketing experience, including an internship at Hasbro Inc. Both graduated from F.W. Olin Graduate School of Business at Babson College. Firefly has assembled an advisory board that is expert in child development, including Julie Reese, PhD, developmental child psychology, Vassar College, Richard Cook, executive director of Winston Child Care Center and faculty member of Boston City University, and Lisa Andrews, head preschool teacher at Winston Child Care Center. So maybe the management section is a little too concise. We want to know more about the management team, their member role and involvement and investment and ownership. The advisors seem to be a strength. Emphasize that by giving more detail on their skill and what the company offers. A brief overview of expectations gives investors a sense of potential return. So let's talk about the financial highlights next. Firefly expects to enjoy attractive gross margins due to our premium pricing and low-cost production. The table below highlights our expected performance. So below that, there is a table with years as columns, revenues, cost of revenue, gross profit, percent of revenue, total operating expense, and net earnings before taxes as various rows, basically coming from the income statement. And so next you have a status and offering. Firefly has raised $55 million to date, using those funds to produce 500 Jordos, comfort creatures, and 500 comfort kits, including all ancillary material, books, caregiver guide, etc. The company has sold 126 Jordos and 75 comfort kits. Firefly is seeking $320,000 in angel investing funding in order to produce 25,000 more product, create and introduce a second product line, and build out the infrastructure to achieve these goals. The snapshot suggests aggressive but doable revenue assumptions and very high gross margins. Make sure the plan supports the succession. The economics appear attractive. It is a good idea to communicate what you have accomplished already. It portrays an action orientation and suggests that you can execute your strategy. All right, so in summary, the most important part of any business plan is the executive summary, although you should write the final version that is included in the business plan after all other sections have been completed. Drafting an extended version before digging into other sections can help you clarify your vision. You can share this early draft with fellow team members to ensure they're all on the same page. The final version of the executive summary is the most important part of the plan. It not only acts as a hook to entice investors and other stakeholders to take a closer look, it is also your concise articulation of the opportunity. We find that entrepreneurs who can articulate their opportunity clearly are more successful in persuading others to join or invest. The remaining chapters examine in detail the different sections of the plan, and that is end of chapter 3 from the business plans that work. And I'm Aditya Mittal, and in the next video we will continue with chapter 4, which is zooming in on the opportunity and understanding the industry. So thank you for watching, and I am glad you have stayed with me so far in this video and in this book reading. Thank you.